forward at 6'8" from Syracuse, number 7, Carmelo Anthony.
On February 23, 2011, Carmelo Anthony made his debut for the New York Knicks. The reaction of the Garden faithful quickly proved that this was not just any other midseason game.
The first game at the Garden was one of those amazing nights that you have only at the Garden. It's just one of those moments where the whole building comes to life.
It was exciting and electric. You can put all the adjectives out there. You know, I'm always amazed every day I'm in the Garden anyway, but this had the heightened anticipation of another star coming to the floor.
Anytime you add a player of his caliber to a team, especially here in New York, it's going to be magnified.
People were there early because they didn't want to just see him in introductions. They wanted to see him in the pregame warm-up.
The fans are hungry now, man. It's been a long time since they had a championship, so they see Melo as a savior.
It was one of the best crowds I've seen in about a decade. They were so fired up because of the potential, because of the hope.
I've been involved in a lot of big games, big moments, but I've never been a part of an atmosphere like that first game against Milwaukee. Never.
The first night that he played, no plays, haven't had any practices. Matter of fact, he was eligible to play, I think, at 5 o'clock in the evening, and he just stepped on the court and played.
During that time, it was just, let's get on the court.
Anthony, the rebound, and there's the first bucket in his Knicks career.
It was a sense of the Knicks are back. This was definitely a team that the Knicks fans could really believe in and feel like, okay, they're on their way now.
With the addition of Carmelo Anthony, the Knicks had acquired a player with a wide-ranging arsenal of skills.
There's Anthony spinning. Oh, pretty move from Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo is one of the most gifted offensive players in the NBA.
Oh, what a tough shot from Carmelo Anthony.
He's one of the best pure scorers in the game right now.
He's got infinite range. He can shoot the 3-ball. He can shoot off the dribble. He can take you to the basket.
He's inside, outside, outside, inside, put the ball on the floor, and he also has an innate ability to be able to score at big moments.
Final seconds. Anthony fakes, puts it up for the win. It's good!
He may have a big smile on his face, but he's out to win the game, and he's got a killer instinct.
You love the athleticism, you love size, but his skill level is really what separates him from the other guys.
Get on it.
From the first time he stepped on the floor, I knew how talented he was. And it's not every day you get to play with a player like that.
He was a leader right from day one, and he believed right from the beginning that we could win a national championship. I think before I did, he probably believed it.
You had other great players on the team that were there, but Carmelo had an ability to elevate them.
He was impossible to defend. You know, he's so strong. His first step is as quick as I've seen, and you know, he can take guys on the block. When he wasn't shooting well from the perimeter, he could just put guys on the post.
Well, I think the greatest thing is every game that you went into, you had a chance to win because he was such a competitor.
Big games don't bother him. He liked the big games. The bigger the game, the better he played, really.
Winning a national championship was probably the most memorable thing, in my career.
When he decided to leave, I couldn't agree more. When you come to college, you want to develop. You want to develop, not just on the floor, but off the floor. And I think he was able to do both.
This is something that he wanted to do. So I felt like this is a good decision that he made on his own to go farther.
We had a 10-second meeting about it. He came in and said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, what more can you do?" And we never really talked about staying.
In the 2003 NBA draft, with all-world phenom LeBron James already off the board, the Detroit Pistons used the second pick on Darko Milicic, leaving the door wide open for the Nuggets to select Carmelo Anthony.
With the third pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Carmelo Anthony from Syracuse University.
I think the greatest thing that he did in Denver was he returned that team to relevancy.
Anthony gets Williams up in the air. Tough shot from Carmelo Anthony.
Anthony did score as well as anyone, as he posted an average of over 20 points per game each year with the Nuggets.
The floodgates are open. He's got 36.
And how do you stop it?
The tough thing as coaches is you think you're defending it pretty well, and he's making tough shot after tough shot.
We did everything. We threw the kitchen sink at him, and we couldn't stop him.
He scores in so many different ways.
You want to have times where you shoot the ball and everything is going and everything just falling for you. And with that night, you know, and just so happened to be against the Knicks.
Comes Anthony again. How many times have we seen that tonight?
That 50-point barrage certainly caught the eye of the Knicks and sparked a strong interest by the team in pursuing the soon-to-be free agent, a pursuit that took on a life of its own.
You weren't sure if he was coming to New York, but this was one where you just felt like this is definitely going to happen, and it did.
When the trade went through, I was relieved. I felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders. You know, I could just really focus on just playing basketball and getting into my new situation here with the Knicks.
With Amar'e Stoudemire already patrolling the floor for the Knicks, adding Carmelo Anthony gives the Knicks one of the best 1-2 punches in the NBA.
For a coach, it's a dream. I mean, your dream is to coach the best players, and we're lucky in New York to have two of the best players in the league.
Having Carmelo on the team with Amari, it helps both of them. Both their games should be better. They shouldn't have to take the pounding that normally you would have to do by yourself. They can kind of split the load.
Well, when you have a superstar, it requires double teaming. So they can't no longer just focus the double in Amari because now they have to worry about Melo and vice versa.
Amari and Melo together can be very formidable, especially on the offensive end.
As Stoudemire and Anthony hook up on a nice play.
When you add that type of talent together, they're going to be tough to deal with.
When you have a big body worried about Amari, well, now you can't come over and help so much on Carmelo, and it helps him out too. And once they get all that figured out, I think they could be a really dangerous 1-2 tandem.
This new Knicks tandem would meet their first major challenge under a national spotlight when they traveled to South Florida to face the star-studded Miami Heat.
I didn't know if the Knicks could beat the Heat that early, just with the limited amount of time they've been together.
I think the pressure was more on the Knicks. You know, Miami is who they are. I mean, they're going to be an elite team, so the Knicks are trying to get to that upper echelon.
You could tell there was definitely a sense of wanting to prove themselves.
Carmelo said, this is a statement game. We want to beat this team. We want to make a statement right now. Here's Stoudemire ahead of the field for the slam. James takes it all the way. Stoudemire for Anthony. Gets a 3-on-1 for the Heat. The alley-oop from Wade to LeBron. Here's Anthony spinning on James. He lays it in.
American Airlines Arena, Jordan, a very good competitive game right now.
You know, it was a hard-fought game, had playoff intensity.
What I thought really stood out was how Carmelo and Amari really got together and defensively were kind of leading the team.
And it's rejected by Carmelo Anthony.
As New York clung to a 1-point lead in the waning seconds of the game, the Knicks knew they needed a defensive stop.
When you see that last play in the end, Carmelo actually went to Bill Walker and said, I got LeBron. And I thought that really stood out because he wanted to check the best player on the other team.
Anytime I get a chance to guard or go up against a guy, you know, like a LeBron, like a Kobe, any of the top players in the NBA, I'm gonna take that challenge.
12.7 seconds remaining. Knicks with a 1-point lead.
Anytime you have a guy out there like that, you got to worry about him.
Melo took him out of his game. When LeBron started driving, Melo kind of got impeded his way. He had to put the shot up quicker than he wanted to.
LeBron James with the basketball, guarded by Carmelo Anthony.
And that allowed Amari to come in and block the shot.
James takes it inside, rejected by Stoudemire.
The competitiveness of our team won out. I thought we did a great job defensively. We scored when we needed to, and we won the ball game.
Obviously, this is the type of game that can propel a team.
That was a good moment for the Knicks and this group because it gave them the confidence to feel like we can go in to another arena, to one of the better teams in the league, and beat them.
But Anthony's heroics for his new team weren't finished in Miami. On March 7, 2011, in a tight contest with Memphis, Anthony once again held his team's fate in his hands.
Anytime that you come down to the end of the games, it's going to be Carmelo.
Carmelo excels at the end of games. Well, that's what he does.
He's a guy that I think wants the ball in the clutch, and I think that's the important thing. You got to have guys with that kind of mentality.
Knicks will try and win it here in regulation. See if the superstars can earn their money tonight.
In Memphis, man, we was fighting an uphill battle the whole game, and it came down to that shot.
Anthony, final seconds. Anthony fakes, puts it up for the win. It's good! With 0.5 of a second remaining, Carmelo Anthony gives the Knicks a 2-point lead.
He's a go-to guy. So when they need a one-shot guy, it's always going to be Melo.
I looked at their bench and just told them, you know, this is what I do. Just because I'm in a new uniform doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing that.
We obviously knew he could do that, but to see it, to have it on your team, it's just, you're real comfortable as a coach.
Carmelo Anthony is a winner.
He's a legitimate all-star player. He likes the attention, he likes the limelight, and he does seem to rise to the occasion.
Anthony puts it up over Granger and hits. The Knicks take a 1-point lead.